In a quiet corner of the world, there lives a spiritual guide who has watched generations seek truth, some sincerely, some selectively. From mountain caves to noisy cities, he has observed a silent phenomenon creeping into modern spirituality. Not everyone who walks a spiritual path is truly walking toward freedom. Many are, unknowingly, walking in circles. This phenomenon is known as spiritual bypassing, using spirituality as an escape, rather than a tool for awakening. And it is far more dangerous than most people realize. This is not a judgment. It is a gentle warning. Because when you use the light to hide from the dark, you don't become enlightened, you become blind. Spiritual bypassing is the act of using spiritual beliefs or practices to avoid facing uncomfortable emotions, unresolved wounds, or real-life responsibilities. Imagine a man who talks endlessly about inner peace, but avoids confronting the pain he carries from childhood. Or a woman who meditates every morning yet refuses to acknowledge the toxic relationship she's in. On the outside, they look spiritual. On the inside, they are stuck. This guide has met seekers who quote teachings about detachment, not because they are free from desire, but because they are terrified of failure. He has heard people say, everything is an illusion, just to avoid accountability. They claim to have transcended anger, but deep down, they are suppressing it. Spiritual bypassing is not healing, it is hiding. Spiritual bypassing wears beautiful masks. It quotes sacred texts. It uses gentle words like surrender, forgiveness, and letting go. But underneath, it's often just fear in disguise. One of its clever tricks is false positivity. Good vibes only. They say, but what happens to grief? To rage? To guilt? These emotions don't disappear. They fester in the shadow, growing more powerful the more they're denied. Then there's the detachment trap. People say, I'm not attached to outcomes. But if you look closely, many of them are just afraid of being disappointed. True detachment isn't fear of loss. It's clarity about what matters. And finally, there's the everything happens for a reason excuse. It can be a wise statement, but sometimes it becomes a lazy one, used to avoid the discomfort of pain, rather than learning from it. The human mind seeks comfort. Spirituality offers answers, beauty, and peace. And for many, it becomes a safe escape from life's hard questions. Some were hurt deeply, and the spiritual path becomes a refuge. Others are overwhelmed by the chaos of the world, and they use spiritual language to distance themselves. I'm not of this world, they say, when really they are overwhelmed by it. But spirituality is not supposed to be a hiding place. It is a mirror, a flame, a forge. It is meant to purify you, not to protect you from the truth. True spirituality is not about floating above the world. It is about moving through it with clarity, courage, and compassion. A wise soul is not someone who avoids pain. It is someone who understands it, feels it, and transforms it. A true seeker does not run from responsibility. They embrace it with humility. The spiritual path is not a ladder to climb out of the world. It is a way of living more deeply within it, with awareness, not avoidance. This guide has met saints who cleaned floors in temples, worked in fields, fed the poor, raised families, not despite their spiritual path, but because of it. The real test of spiritual growth is not how long you can meditate. It's how deeply you can love, how honestly you can confront your weaknesses, how responsibly you can live your life. When people use spirituality to escape reality, they become disconnected. They may start to lose empathy. They might justify their lack of action by calling it non-attachment. But apathy is not the same as peace. Families break. Careers fall apart. Mental health deteriorates. All because someone said, "It's all an illusion," instead of taking responsibility. Spiritual bypassing can also block true healing. Old wounds stay buried. Unexpressed grief poisons relationships. And eventually, life forces them to confront what they avoided through breakdowns, betrayals, or illness. The soul cannot be tricked. You can chant mantras, burn incense, and read scriptures. But if you're using these to avoid your inner work, they become distractions. Here are some signs a guide has seen in many seekers. You believe feeling negative emotions means you're not spiritual enough. You use phrases like, "it's all good," to avoid addressing real problems. You avoid conflict by calling everything energy or karma. You retreat from relationships instead of growing through them. You talk about peace, but you avoid setting boundaries. You fear judgment, but pretend it's detachment. Recognizing these signs is not a failure. It is the beginning of real growth. The spiritual path is not supposed to be easy. It demands radical honesty. It asks you to look at your fears, your traumas, your attachments, and bring light to them. It asks you to engage with the world, to be of service, to grow not just in silence, but in relationship, work, and family. Real spirituality integrates your highest vision with your deepest wounds. It helps you return, not escape. The goal is not to become untouched by the world, but to touch it more gently, more lovingly, more courageously. So the wise guide says this, not as a rebuke, but as an invitation. Do not use light to hide from darkness. Use it to illuminate it. Do not wear spirituality like a mask. Let it be your mirror. Do not rise above life. Rise through it. You are not here to float. You are here to grow. Spirituality is not the end of responsibility. It is the beginning of sacred responsibility. The world does not need more enlightened people who hide in silence. It needs awakened souls who are present, accountable, and alive. That is the true path. Walk it fully. Walk it honestly. Walk it awake.